We're on verse 6,104 out of 31,102 verses in the King James Bible. We're looking at Joshua 10, verse 3. So a lot of people think the enemies of God's people are always divided, that they're disorganized and weak. They think the enemies of God are always that way, divided, disorganized, weak. But this verse is going to show the exact opposite. So the moment that God starts giving victory to his people, the wicked start forming alliances. Joshua 10 verse 3 is a reminder that when truth starts advancing, opposition often gets organized quickly, fast. So evil knows how to unite when it feels threatened. And you'll see that in places when you're out doing good in an area. Right, and the evil will get organized, and it'll try to stop you. Right, this still is happening today. Like what we're going to see in this verse, it still happens now. So let's read this verse together. Joshua 10, verse 3. The Bible says, "Wherefore Adoni-zedek, king of Jerusalem, sent unto Hoham, king of Hebron, and unto Piram, king of Jarmuth, and unto Japhia, king of Lachish, and unto Debir, king of Eglon, saying." So, hey, what's going on in this verse? If you take a close look, a lot of people just read through that and forget what they see. Well, we're going to slow down here. What's actually happening here? So Joshua 10 comes right after the Gibeonites made peace with Joshua and Israel. And that alarmed the king of Jerusalem. Right? He sees what's happening. So he saw that Gibeon was a great city and that its men were mighty. And now it had joined itself to Israel. So in this verse, Adoni-zedek, king of Jerusalem, sends messages to who? You see it right here. To 4 other kings to form a united attack. Right? They're organizing against them. So this verse is the setup for a coalition against Gibeon and ultimately against Israel. So the enemies are gathering because they see the momentum of God's people and they want to stop it. A lot of people will see that. When people are making progress, they'll want to put a stop to it. And good progress for good things, and some people will want to stop it. And they try their best to do that. And that's what you see going on here. So this is how the world often reacts when the truth of things start moving forward. The world's going to try to put a stop to the truth. So what do people get wrong about this verse? So some people read a verse like this, and they think it's just a list of names and cities with no real lesson in it, right? They'll just read through that real quick. We're all guilty of that. But this is showing the beginning of organized resistance. That's what this verse is showing. Organized resistance against good. So others miss how quickly the enemies respond when they feel threatened. Right? God's enemies are organized. You can see it right here. You might say, well, Satan is not organized. Like all of his devils, they're not organized. All the evil in this world is not organized. Well, is that the truth? So enemies will respond when they feel threatened. So they may fight each other at other times. Like maybe these kings would want to fight each other other times. But when the people of God start winning, that opposition can suddenly become very unified and together. And they got a plan and they're organized. So people also skip over the significance of Jerusalem right here. Right, so long before Jerusalem became known as the city of David, that's right here, long before that, it was already a strategic and powerful place with a king leading resistance against God's people. You see that right here. Let's look at this verse a little closer, phrase by phrase breakdown of this verse right there at the top, Joshua 10 verse 3. Wherefore Adoni-zedek, king of Jerusalem. So we're breaking it down phrase by phrase. Wherefore Adoni-zedek, king of Jerusalem. So this king sees what is happening and he reacts. You got to know what happened before this. We mentioned it earlier. And he's not passive in this. And he understands that Israel's victories are changing the land, and he wants to put a stop to it. Right? This is Adoni-zedek, king of Jerusalem. Next part of the verse, let's start from the top again. Wherefore Adoni-zedek, king of Jerusalem, sent unto Hoham, king of Hebron. So what does he do there? This king of Jerusalem, he reaches out for more help to the king of Hebron named Hoham. So this is the beginning of a coalition, right? They're going to join together. So one of God's enemies is recruiting others. The enemies of Israel, they're going to recruit other enemies, and they're going to work together. Next part of the verse, starting at the top. Wherefore Adoni-zedek, king of Jerusalem, sent unto Hoham, king of Hebron, and unto Piram, king of Jarmuth. So the circle is widening, right? They're bringing in more people. So the opposition, the enemies, are organizing themselves deliberately, right? They're going to join together because they think that's going to help them to win. Next part of the verse. Wherefore Adoni-zedek, king of Jerusalem, sent unto Hoham, king of Hebron, and unto Piram, king of Jarmuth, and unto Japhia, king of Lachish. So more kings are joining in, and the threat of Israel is great enough in their eyes that they're willing to unite. Sometimes the enemies will put away their differences, and they will unite together against the good. The next part of the verse, it says from the top, Wherefore Adoni-zedek, king of Jerusalem, sent unto Hoham, king of Hebron, and unto Piram, king of Jarmuth, and unto Japhia, king of Lachish, and unto Debir, king of Eglon. So this is now a very serious alliance. You have more and more kings, and they have power. So you have many kings joining together in an alliance here. So what started as one king's concern from the top there, king of Jerusalem, it's becoming a combined enemy force. Where they're getting so-called, they're getting more and more powerful. But what they don't realize is against God, it doesn't matter how much power they can gather all the kings of all time. They're not going to win if God says they're not going to win. Right? Whoever's side God is on, they are going to win. Last part of the verse from the top. Wherefore Adoni-zedek, king of Jerusalem, sent unto Hoham, king of Hebron, and unto Piram, king of Jarmuth, and unto Japhia, king of Lachish, and unto Debir, king of Eglon, saying. So he's going to speak here, saying. So that message is not in this verse. We're focusing in on this verse, but that message is coming next. So this verse already tells you the main point. So the enemies are coordinating against God's people. Right? You can see that. The enemies are getting together, and they're going to be organized, and they're going to come against God's people. Cross references for this verse. Joshua 9, verse 2. The Bible says that they gathered themselves together to fight with Joshua and with Israel with one accord. So that shows this kind of unified resistance. It was already building, right? That's in Joshua 9, verse 2, that they gathered themselves together to fight with Joshua and with Israel with one accord, right? And you're going to see enemies of God coming together to fight against the good. Psalm 2, verse 2, another cross-reference here. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying. So this is just showing a broader biblical pattern. You're going to see that throughout the Bible, and you're going to see in your life, if you try to go out preaching the gospel, that people are going to be seeking to go against the Lord in every way possible. And they're going to speak against him. They're going to mock him. They're going to call him names. They're going to do all of these things. Right? I got threatened with a gun not too long ago because a man was calling God a liar and cursing the Bible, and I told him to be quiet. And he should be quiet. And he's like, son, go get my gun. right? And things like that. Because I'm going to say something. Like if you're going to curse God, if you're going to I'm going to say something. And if you don't like it, you need to be careful because God's listening. He says, do not I fill the heavens and the earth. And he's God, meaning he has all power, he has all might. But you'll see that pattern in the Bible. You'll see it throughout your life. And you're going to have that. Like a lot of people are worried that people don't like them or that somebody's not going to like them. Well, get over that. People don't like you. There's a lot of people that don't. Most people don't like me. Okay? Most people hate me because I'm preaching what God says. And what is Jesus? They hated Jesus. They first hated him. You think they're all going to love you? Right? No, and you don't need that either. What you need is God on your side. So rulers are going to always unite against God and his purposes. That's what they do. So doctrine plus controversy in this verse, Joshua 10:3. So Joshua 10:3 is teaching that opposition to God's people, they're opposing you. It's often intentional, it's organized, and it is united. A lot of people don't think that can happen, but it does. So the controversy is that many believers expect resistance to like always be random, always be scattered, that it's not organized and not coming at you. That's what they expect it to be. But the Bible shows that wicked leaders can come together quickly when they see truth, righteousness, God's people advancing and doing right, and the leaders that come together. Like I believe evil church, so-called church leaders that are actually working for Satan, they'll come together and try to stop a good church. They will. When they see the good church preaching the gospel and doing things, they'll try to spread lies about them. They'll try to stop them in any way that they can. So this verse also reminds us, right there, Joshua 10:3, that political power and military alliances are not the ultimate power. Remember this. No matter what they do, God's still going to win. So these kings right here, they might unite together, and maybe that scares some people. Like, oh, they're all coming against me. Like in your life, a lot of times you're going to have a lot of people coming against you when you're trying to do good. Don't let that stop you, and don't be afraid of that. So the kings here, they might unite together, and they might look powerful, but they cannot overthrow the will of God. Nobody can. It's the will of God. So when man comes together in many different ways, it's not going to cancel out God's promises. Like these kings listed here, these people listed here, they're not going to cancel God's promises. So application here is do not be surprised when opposition becomes organized. Right? You're going to see it in the Bible. They are organized against the good. So do not assume the enemies of truth are going to be divided. And no, they'll fight together against you. So when God is working, and remember this always, when God's working, expect resistance to happen. Always. Like whenever you're going to do good, expect that resistance. And do not fear coalitions against the truth. Right? People coming against you trying to stop you, do not fear them. Like, it would probably surprise you how many people that are always coming at me trying to stop something that's good. Like, constantly. Always. Or trying to distract from this or from that. Constant opposition. So, expect that. And do not fear them ever, because God is with you when you're doing right. So look, also, God is greater than any alliance formed against his people. Right? God is always greater than any alliance ever formed against his people. Always. So don't worry about it. And stay faithful when pressure builds. Just like Joshua in the book of Joshua. You can read the whole book. Stay faithful when pressure builds. He's a great example of that. The gathering of enemies. There's another one. The gathering of enemies does not mean God has lost control. So the whole world can come up against you. God's still in control. You always have to remember that. Do not forget that. So Joshua 10:3, that's the truth of this verse right there. You can read it yourself. There's no confusion. There's no additions there. Let's read it one more time together. Joshua 10 verse 3. Wherefore Adoni-zedek, king of Jerusalem, sent unto Hoham, king of Hebron, and unto Piram, king of Jarmuth, and unto Japhia, king of Lachish, and unto Debir, king of Eglon, saying, and we'll get to that verse with what Adoni-zedek's going to be saying. But I'm glad you're here with me to learn this verse and to see the truth of that verse right there. The next verse is coming soon, so like, subscribe, and be notified of the next verse. And remember, we have 31,102 verses to do in the King James Bible.